I'm here with Aaron, Mr. Nice Guy, Baldonado, fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, fighting with the Sandoval fighting system. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Great.
Well.
So you have a fight coming up on June 13th, and that is in Las Cruces. Can you tell me a little bit about who you're fighting? I know that there was a little bit of a mishap. I guess the person you were originally fighting dropped out. Okay.
They got me a new opponent. It's going to be at a catch weight of 130 pounds. I was originally supposed to fight Brandon Wild for the featherweight, right? I think it was the featherweight championship at 115 pounds. But he had a knee injury, so he had to drop out this week. Real unfortunate, but to me, it really doesn't make much of a difference. I'm here to fight, so. The belt was, a good cherry on top of, all the hard work that I've been putting in, but I'm really here just to fight. So as long as I got an opponent, I really don't care who it is. I'm game for it.
So were there any negative thoughts though that came to mind once you heard that he wasn't fighting? Because now you're fighting in a different weight class?
Well, not typically about the weight class. I mean, I was training hard for 5 rounds. So now that it's switched to 3, changes a little bit, but really not much because either way I fight the same from the first second to the last second. So like I said, not much of a difference to me. I was kind of looking forward to the bout with Brendan because he has experience. He has a decent amount of fights and he's kind of been through the ringer. He's got wins and losses. So I expected the fact that he was an experienced opponent, and then they switched out last second, a guy who I don't think he has any fights.
Okay.
So that was a little disappointing, but like I said, I'm here to fight, so it really doesn't make much of a difference to me.
Now, what type of fighting style do you have? Because I was trying to read into some stuff, and they just said, you're aggressive, you have a wrestling background.
Right.
So how has that wrestling background applied into your fighting style?
Exactly the same as I wrestle. I'm aggressive. I like to push forward. It's hard to say what kind of style I have, just because I feel like I've become such a well-rounded fighter now. I can really take this fight anywhere I want. I'm good on the ground. I'm good standing. My standing game has improved a lot since I first joined the gym here. Because I came strictly with just wrestling only. I had a little bit of boxing, but I never competed in boxing or anything like that. So that was kind of something I knew I had to improve. Pushing forward and being a complete MMA fighter. And that's really what my goal is just to be an overall better fighter and just test my skills out there.
So right now you're fighting with Sandoval Fighting Systems. What type of training is going on? Because I know they have jiu-jitsu, I know there's boxing. Can you just give the audience a little bit of explanation? Because I always see you guys doing something.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we do it all. We have certain days where we focus on different aspects of the game, like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing, but they're all MMA related. So it's not like we're doing strictly jiu-jitsu. The way I put it, it's practical for what we do, because one thing that I had to realize, transitioning from wrestling to MMA wrestling, is they're 2 totally different things.
In what way?
Positioning, pressure, cage fighting, especially being on the cage is a lot different. Having a wall behind you is a lot different. How to use the wall, because in wrestling, you can kind of just drop forward, and it's usually the way that I wrestle is the more aggressive, the more active wrestler gets the win, but it's not necessarily that way in MMA because you have to watch out for submissions, strikes, and everything like that. So the positioning's a little bit different, using the wall is a big thing too.
What do you think is one of the most powerful jiu-jitsu moves to use in the cage?
Get-ups.
What is that? Just
it's a lot of
not like you're shrimping or anything, just
somewhat actually.
Okay.
Yeah, shrimping.
I have a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, so I know a little what's going on.
Yeah, shrimping, using the submission threat to get up is a big thing, because in wrestling you kind of just spring up, but when there's strikes involved, it's not so easy.
Okay.
So you're having to fight hands a lot, better positioning, and then like I said, using those submission threats to stand up to your feet. And if you get the choke, you get the choke, and that's, like I said, it's another variable that is included.
And now, how is boxing training helping you in the cage? And is it the same? Because I'm getting the sense that it's more of striking, which is not the same as traditional boxing. Can you explain that?
Yeah, it's, boxing is great. Like, it's a great sport, and it's, it helps. It's a good toolkit to have, but it's not the end all be all. Like, boxing is a lot different than MMA, because you just don't have to worry about things like, when you move and bob your head, like you're accessible to the kicks. And that's one thing that I found out early on. Like, I was really good at my head movement, but sometimes my head movement led me right into kicks. So it's like, you have to kind of like mix in the MMA striking aspect of it in order to use your boxing, right? The positioning is different. You got to be a little bit more aware, things like that. Like, I notice boxers, they tend to dip their heads a lot more, which is pretty dangerous in MMA. Yeah, and not only that, but your foot placement, right? Like, if you're too heavy on your lead leg, you can get your foot swept out from underneath you. You can get shot on. People can take you down a lot easier. So boxing, like I said, it's a good tool to have because it is hands and it's fundamentals, but it's not the end all be all.
Okay. Now, is there any Muay Thai involved? Or is it
somewhat,
or like a kickboxing?
Somewhat, like we do kickboxing mostly, but obviously we have things like knees and elbows that we do throw in our striking. So, and things that we work on, like on mitts and combinations. But I wouldn't say it's like traditional Muay Thai. We're not standing and like plotting, and we're still keeping, because it's with Muay Thai, you're susceptible to getting taken down because they're so like upright.
Yes.
So you have to kind of blend your own style with the styles that are given to you.
So how long have you been with SFS?
About 2 years, 2.5 now, almost
and
3.
I know that you were a police officer.
Yeah.
So what happened? Not necessarily that something happened, but what was that moment that you said, I don't want to be an officer anymore, I want to do this full time?
The job itself wasn't very fulfilling. It was tough because I did get let go. I did get let go for some off-duty incidents. It's nothing major,
just life, just shit.
Just life, yeah. I was doing not the best or the smartest thing to be doing.
Okay.
So I did get let go from it, but when I got let go for such a small thing that I thought like the hypocrisy was kind of insane. Because not to shit on people, but there was a lot going on.
We can shit on people. No,
there's a lot going on, and people have kept their jobs for doing a lot worse than myself, and it was just like when I got fired, I got fired for smoking weed. So like they told me I was outrageous. They told me
there's a weed spot on every freaking block here. Come on, people.
Yeah, they told me I was outrageous and that I was this and I was that. But I kind of was like I said, the hypocrisy was a little bit insane. So as soon as I got fired, it was like a commitment of like I knew I would never be a cop again. Like it just wasn't worth the stress. It wasn't worth the pay. Like yeah, I got paid a good amount and I had like a good living for myself. But like for what I had to do being a cop and like how dangerous it was, it wasn't
not
enough.
worth your mental health.
It wasn't enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough, and it wasn't something that I even tried to pursue. Like after, like once I was done, I was like, I'm done. And that kind of led me down like a dark path because, once you get fired from being a cop, it's like, what do you do? I got hired when I was like 18. I started working for the police department at 18, and then I had like no life experience in like anything else. So the only thing I could do was be a cop or a security guard, right? So like, and that led to just me looking at life like everything's meaningless, everything was just kind of pointless at that point. It was like working a job and clocking in and out just to make money, just to make ends meet. I like gave up on that whole like concept, and so I was like a bum for a little while. I didn't work.
I don't think you sound like a bum at all. I mean, I'm older, so I think that you made the right decision. I don't know. I think when things like that happen, it's actually a blessing.
Yeah.
Because imagine that you were still an officer right now. I don't think it would be.
That's all I'd be.
Satisfying.
Yeah, that's all I would be.
Aging yourself.
Yeah.
For absolutely no reason. But now you said that you've been with SFS for 2 years. So you got fired. Was it like, how did you find this place? Were you just like, hey, I'm here, or?
It's kind of a long story because, like I said, I was off the wall. I was drinking a lot. I was really drinking a lot, and I was doing a lot of other drugs, and I was just spiraling. Really, I was out of control. But I had a little bit of a good standing with my wrestling coach back home. So I would go there for a little bit, and I would train with the kids, and I would still. They wanted me to be a coach, but obviously I wasn't in a position to be a coach. Like I was out of my mind, you know. So like, but there was a guy there who because my wrestling coach used to be an MMA fighter back in the day. So he had some guys that would come in and they would do jiu-jitsu with me. So I was like, okay, well, let me start doing that. So I started doing jiu-jitsu, and then I told him like, hey, like I want to fight. And he really wasn't interested in teaching me, right? But his proteges were. So he was focused on the wrestling team, while his proteges kind of helped me out, and they invited me to Dark Haven a couple times. They said, hey, yeah, and they were like, hey, let's go do open mat at Dark Haven, and I was like, all right. So I would go every weekend, because I lived in Gallup, so I'm like 2 hours away, so I'd have to travel out here.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I had to travel out here to do open mat for a little bit, right? And then
that's dedication.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I would do that, and I'd get submitted all the time, because all I knew how to do was wrestle. But like when I could hold people down, I could hold them down. And I kind of knew like if I could throw some strikes in here, like it was feasible, it was possible, And like I just got invited to go spar one day here, and I met Freddie for the first time. I was not in any condition, shape, knowledge, nothing. Like I said, I was still drinking. It wasn't like I was clean over here, I'd party the night before, and then I'd come spar, and then so I felt like crap.
Better than not sparring at all.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt like crap coming in, and like, I feel like a part of me, or I know that Freddie knew, you could like smell the whiskey off of me and stuff like that when I'm sweating, and he knew I was on a lot of things, and but he never brought it up. He never like discouraged me. He just told me like, hey, like you're a really good wrestler, like just keep coming. And I would go back and forth between here and Gallup. And then, finally one day I said, you know what, I'm gonna come out here to Albuquerque, and I'm gonna get a job, and I'm gonna sleep in my car. I said, I'm gonna sleep in my car. I brought my dogs up with me.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
I was like, I'm gonna sleep in my car. I brought my dogs up with me, and I was working, coming to training, just trying to make it work, Then I had to leave for a little bit because I got fired here too. So then like I had to go back to Gallup, and I was at a pretty low point in my life, and I was just like, man, like I have to figure out a way to make this happen, And then I left for a little bit, and then once
Hey, am I interrupting?
Yes, you are. But we're not editing it because I think it's kind of funny. Ask in a few minutes.
Give me when you're ready.
Okay.
Right, but anyway, because I was a cop, I had some money saved up, right? Like I forget what it's called, but when you're a cop, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I had some of that money, and
Your story is like mine, except I'm not an officer or a nurse. But
I was saving it up, and I was waiting for the right moment, and then finally, around New Year's, I forget what year, probably like 2022, 2023. I just knew. I was like, I'm gonna take this money out. I'm gonna ask my brother, and I'm gonna say, hey, let's get out of here, because Gallup is it's a small town, and it's not a good place, like it's I call it a black hole, because it's just nothing's going on there. The only thing you can do is get drunk, honestly, And so I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like if not, I'm gonna end up dying. Like, because I told my dad too, because he told me I told him I was gonna come out here and fight and sleep in my car, and he thought it was crazy. And he was just like, well, that's on you. And I was like, it is on me. Because I was like, if I don't do this, like, I'm never going to train again. I'm not going to eat clean. I'm just going to drink until I die, basically. Like, that was my commitment. I was like, I'm going to die here, And I was like, so I have to make this happen. So I took that money out. I got my brother, we got jobs up here again. We got an apartment. And then ever since then, I've been training full time.
And everything's just getting better and better.
Yeah, and that's stuff on rolling.
And I think hearing the story, like the one that you've said, is something that so many more people can benefit from hearing about, because when I talk to people just across all different places, even in other countries, your story is so similar to so many people's stories, except they never actually get out.
Yeah.
They are committed to the death,
Yeah.
right? And they do wind up. I know fighters, former fighters, and they decided to give it all up and
Yeah.
and now they won't go to rehab. So I mean, I commend you for that. It takes a lot of strength and it takes a lot of power and resilience, and you know that resilience shows in the cage. And I know that you were talking about food and things like that, and I did have a question because I know for each one of these disciplines is usually like a different type of diet. So how the hell do you make it all work? Like,
Well, I wasn't making it work at the beginning. I was
Okay.
I was eating like garbage, you know. I was eating like garbage or not eating at all. That was my biggest thing. Like Freddie had to get on me about like you need to eat because I wouldn't eat. Like I come to training on an empty stomach. I just have like a cup of coffee and that was it. So like my weight was really down. You know, that's why I wasn't like a very big 125er, just because I wasn't eating. You know, but now you know I've been able to get the right nutrition and start eating, and I'm eating a lot more now. I've had help with my dad, you know, like he's I think once he saw like I was committed like to doing this, because at first he really wasn't like too interested in helping me out, but once he saw like I was actually committed and like I'm not quitting, you know, like he was like, okay, I'm gonna start investing back into you, because that was the other thing. Like obviously I didn't earn my dad's trust at first because I was a knucklehead, you know.
yeah.
So he didn't really trust me with anything. So, but I don't blame him, you know. I wasn't in the right state of mind at the time, you know. I was going through a lot of issues, and you know, now he helps me out with my groceries. And my brother is the biggest help to me because he's a cook, so he makes all my meal prep for me.
What's your brother's name?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Big up.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest adversity? I mean, aside from obviously drinking, you were drinking heavily. What is an adversity or something negative about yourself that you're still working on changing?
You know, it's funny because it's like, I don't know, I hate to say it because it sounds a little heartless, but sometimes it's like, you know, I get about having like negative thoughts and like being down on yourself and being like very depressed and like looking down on the past, but something that I've come to realize is that it doesn't exist anymore, you know, like it doesn't really matter like where I came from and what's happened to me, it's all gone, you know. So like the idea, because I'm very prideful, right? So like to say like I was a cop and now I'm not, like everybody always asks why, you know, and I would like almost get like angry, like,
Well,
what does it matter?
You
You know?
I don't like the police. I have
Yeah.
very bad history with them just from my mother doing stuff. But
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's not the end all be all. Like
Exactly.
I think that people get this, you know, you're an officer, they get it on a pedestal. No, you're a human being wearing
Exactly.
a uniform, and like
Exactly, and that's the biggest thing that I realized about living in my car. It was like it's a very fine line, because like being in my car, like I used to see so many homeless people. Like once I was sleeping in a park at one point, and like I would see a guy, he'd walk up, some old man, and you know he looked like he had a decent like life. You know, he had a polo shirt, khakis, and he would go and he'd sleep on the bench, and I was looking at him, and then like 20 feet from him, there's a guy younger than I am who's all raggedy, dirty. You know, bags of just stuff that he would carry with him, and he's sleeping under the tree, and then I'm right across from him, like sleeping under a tree too, and I have my dogs chained up to my leg, you know, so like, yeah, I realized it was like a very thin line between like, you know, people that judge, you know, and people that say, oh, this and that, because yes, Albuquerque has a lot of problems, and you know, people complain about the homelessness here and whatnot, but like, it literally can just take that, like you just lose your job, and then everything's gone. Like, and to me that was kind of sad, you know, like, and that's why I never harp on like work or anything like that, because I'm like, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, this is real, like fighting is real, you know, going to your job and clocking in and then complaining about it like it's the end of the world it's kind of insane to me now, you know. I'm like, you're not really doing anything, you're just clocking in like every other adult, you know, but to actually fight and give yourself like, you know, put yourself through the discipline and like train every day and then go to work and then deal with drama and then do all this other stuff, like it's hard to explain to people that don't compete, you know, because it's like, yeah, there's no pressure, but there is, you know.
well, it's the determination inside of you that's keeping you going, and
Right.
you're gonna do it regardless of who believes in you or not, because at the end of the day, fuck them.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
who
honestly.
cares?
Exactly.
But now, in closing, I'm wondering if you had a Venn diagram or just one of those like box diagrams that we made in grade school,
Mhm.
and you were able to look ahead 2 years or even 5 years from now, what would a pinnacle of success look like for you? Would it just be you continuing to fight and just living a peaceful life? Like, where do you see yourself?
I don't know if there's a pinnacle of success because there's always more to achieve, right? Like, I'm good right now, you know, from where I was to where I am now, like, I'm happy, you know, and that was hard. That was something very hard for me to, like, come to terms with, because, like, I'm so used to, like, the struggle. I'm so used to, like, being down on myself, and, like, to allow myself to be happy with today, it was kind of hard for me. But you know, I just think that's what it is. You know, I don't really try to look ahead. I don't really think about tomorrow. I focus on what's happening today and what I can appreciate today. You know, like, obviously I'm still going to be fighting. Like, I know that that's my goal at the end of the day. You know, whether that's, you know, I'm fighting for a big organization or, you know, it really doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm here to test my skills. I'm here to get better every single day. And that's all I really try to focus on, is at the task at hand.
But then every day is the pinnacle of success, right? Which most people are trying to still achieve that, and that's leading all back into this whole I'm punching in and punching out. I'm going on a family vacation, but they've never actually lived in who they are. Like, you had to face who you were and overcome those obstacles. People are still like that. It doesn't matter about the paycheck, right? So for you to say, like, you're just comfortable with the day and just so grateful, that is the success.
Yes,
So,
honestly.
yeah, I want to just thank you for your time, and so just give the details of the fight next week. It's on June 13th.
Yes, June
In
13th.
Las Cruces. Is it at the Pan American?
Pan American. Like I said, I don't really think about those things. I look at the pamphlet and I'm like, all right, this is where it's at.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I'm too focused.
I'll be there. I'll be there for sure, and hopefully I get a post-fight interview.
Of course.
Thank you so
Happy to
much,
do it.
Aaron.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Thank you.